Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion.
On this week's episode, we have theme park news and a trip report to Universal Studios Hollywood. You're listening to episode 133 of the Theme Park Duo podcast.
Prepare yourselves for an unforgettable encounter.
Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Gabe.
And we are
the Theme Park Duo. We have a fun episode lined up for you today where we are going to be talking about, I'm getting my brain's getting ahead of my words in my mouth there.
Happens often.
More often than people realize because I cut it out of the show. We have a fun episode lined up for you guys because we're going to be talking about a trip report to Universal Studios Hollywood that we actually just had at this recording. It was yesterday.
Yeah.
And we went with our kiddo, who is 3.5. As you know, if you listened to the last episode, we had a trip report to Knott's Berry Farm in Soak City, and we took her there too. So this is going to be along the same lines of, family-oriented episode, tips and tricks, what we did, what worked, what didn't work, and kind of how the day went.
Exactly.
So that's what this episode entails, but we also have a lot of theme park news too. Honestly, I kind of want to get through it all, even though there's news that's exciting, because our trip was so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the trip was just kind of, it was almost like a milestone kind of situation where,
she's 40 inches tall. She can ride rides.
Yeah, she is an official human being.
Exactly. We can go on more than just Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, more than just Kung Fu Panda and the tram, but we wouldn't want to put her on the tram. We still don't want to put her on the tram yet.
Yeah, we didn't go on the tram.
I feel like that's traumatizing to a certain extent. But
all those gosh dang screen tunnels.
Not all the screen tunnels, like, oh my god, world-ending earthquake. Look at this big giant gas tanker falling towards me and all the water. That's terrifying for a kid.
Nah, screen tunnels.
For an adult, maybe.
Yeah.
But not for kids.
For me, personally.
For her, it's like, ooh, big TV.
I'm like, another screen.
Calm down.
No.
Chill out.
I will die on this hill.
Yeah, Nikki has her Topo Chico in hand, so she feels super brave. She laughs because it's true.
Every listener knows how I feel about the screens on the tram tour.
Valid. They don't bother me as much as they bother you.
They bother me to my core.
I digress.
I digressed, actually.
You really should. Let's waste no more time and jump directly into the Theme Park Bulletin. So first up on the Theme Park Bulletin, we have news coming out of Universal Studios Hollywood. Shocker, we were just there. We were just talking about them like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, so Universal Studios Hollywood extends the July 4th celebrations all weekend long from July 2nd to 4th, along with spectacular fireworks display and live music performances. Universal Studios Hollywood celebrates 4th of July. I just read this in the title. Gabe, you are repetitive in your notes.
That was the title of the press release.
Okay.
So that's not my fault.
Everything I just said, plus there are dazzling nightly firework displays, live music performances, specially themed decor, and more, all included in the price of admission to the park. From the moment guests walk along the iconic red carpet and enter the theme park, they will be immersed in 4th of July festivities, from themed decor to the sound of a fife and drum band. Then, beginning nightly at 9 p.m., an elaborate fireworks display will splash across the sky, synchronized to a score of Universal-themed music and patriotic favorites from 2 locations inside of the theme park.
This is a very timely piece of news because 4th of July is the upcoming weekend.
Yeah, and honestly, that sounds amazing. A fireworks display to my favorite Universal music.
Oh, I thought you were going to say fife and drum.
No.
That's so exciting. Fife and drum.
I do not know what a fife is.
A fife, I believe a fife is like a flute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't care about that.
You know how when
I want fireworks to the Waterworld soundtrack and Hook.
I literally just thought you were going to say, I want fife and drum again. I really was expecting it. I don't know why I'm expecting you to go all in on fife and drum.
Gabe, do you know what I really want? I really really want fireworks. Yeah. To the E.T. score.
That would be fantastic. Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, all those really
E.T.
iconic
and Hook,
ones.
that's it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, even Simpsons, Waterworld, all those ones. I'll take all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. So let's not skip a beat, because Universal Studios Hollywood has their 4th of July celebrations, but so does Universal Orlando Resort.
But do they have fife and drum?
I don't know. They might not. If they don't, it's not even worth talking about.
Right.
They may not have fife and drum, but they do have character meet and greets, pyrotechnics, and live music. But let's talk about this really quick. Universal Orlando Resort will feature special entertainment at Universal Studios Florida on July 4th to celebrate Independence Day, including a high-energy band, live DJ, meet and greets with Universal's most popular characters, and a patriotic-themed performance, and stilt walkers. They don't have fife and drum, but they have stilt walkers. The activities are included with admission to Universal Studios Florida, allowing guests to top off an epic day at the theme park with thrills, with also patriotic fun. The festivities will kick off on Monday, July 4th at 5 p.m. and run through the park close at the Music Plaza, which will be decked out in festive decor and all things red, white, and blue. The celebration will culminate with a special pyrotechnics display at 9 p.m., which guests can view throughout the park. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to be in one viewing location for it. You can be throughout the park and kind of enjoy it, which is kind of nice. So they have theirs, but it isn't throughout the entire weekend like ours is.
No, obviously. I mean, multiple days and fife and drum. Ugh, no contest.
We have fife and drum. They have 2 parks and a lot of other stuff. I don't know where that competition goes, but it doesn't go anywhere good.
You know what we also have in our favor?
What?
No humidity.
That is true. We just have dry heat.
I'll take the dry heat and fife and drum over soggy fireworks any day.
Soggy fireworks. Yeah. That is the description I wasn't expecting coming into today's episode.
Soggy fireworks.
Do soggy fireworks even work?
No.
At all?
No.
Then what? Then why
no
would they have
fireworks.
Then why would they have soggy fireworks?
Because of the humidity.
I don't think that's how that works.
Fife and drum.
Fife and drum is just the go-to now to get out of a sticky situation.
Fair warning.
Like humidity.
Fair warning. I came home from work completely slap happy. I've been in a zany mood all
night. We didn't get great sleep, so I mean.
No, we didn't. We are still coming off of the high that was Universal yesterday, and I'm feisty.
Very feisty. Let's also jump into some more news from Universal Orlando Resort with a new luau and family-friendly dinner show.
Yes, let's.
Yes, let's talk about more fife and drum.
I was trying to be all professional, and then I just
let's not beat around the bush, Nikki. I don't think professional is really in the repertoire description of our show.
I couldn't even take myself seriously. I was trying to segue into this.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Nope.
So, Universal Orlando Resort embraces the Aloha spirit with the much anticipated return of Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort.
Wantalon. That's how I would pronounce it. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, so I apologize to everybody, but that's how I would pronounce it.
Okay. Wantillan. Luau. The festive, family-friendly luau and dinner show returns on Saturdays at 6 p.m. The hotel's captivating evening event unfolds at an outdoor covered pavilion with the roar of the drums and traditional chants before performers make a dramatic entrance and take the stage. Guests will then take a memorable journey through Polynesian culture featuring the elegance and enchantment of Hawaii, the ancient and vibrating pounding of the Nafa drums and Tonga, the mesmerizing...
Nafa drums of Tonga.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, full disclosure, I was trying not to burp that whole time, and it was throwing me off. I'm sorry.
I appreciate the honesty.
Okay, that's all I have going for me is honesty. Okay, so the ancient vibrating pounding of the Nafa drums of Tonga, the mesmerizing hip-shaking dance of Tahiti, and the exhilarating and flaming art of the Warrior Fire Dance from Samoa. We are delighted to offer this incredible event again to our resort guests as well as Central Florida residents, says Managing Director Larry Biederman. Every luau is a party, and we are thrilled to have met as many guests come to celebrate birthdays, graduations, anniversaries, and other special moments with us. Guests will enjoy a culinary and musical voyage featuring hula dancers, a fire knife dancer, oh my god.
That sounds dangerous.
Lively music, and an array of foods, including a Polynesian-inspired buffet featuring traditional pit-roasted suckling pig, Hawaiian chicken teriyaki, catch of the day, lomi lomi chicken salad, ahi poke salad, fire-grilled tender beef, island spice vegetables, freshly baked breads, rolls, and more. Dessert extravaganza featuring pineapple macadamia tarts, passion fruit creme brulee, and tropical fresh fruit with chocolate mousse shots. Ooh. Mai Tais, wine, and beer for guests 21 and older. Kid-friendly buffet with pizza, chicken fingers, macaroni and cheese, peanut butter, and jelly, and more. The Wantalan Luau takes place Saturdays at 6. Regular and premium seating is available. Tickets start at $89 for adults and $39 for children. Tickets are available at wantalanluau.eventbrite.com.
So a few things here. One, let's end this podcast so we can fly over to Florida because I want some pit roasted suckling pig in my mouth right now.
I want whatever the chocolate shot. I want that.
It's not alcohol.
No, I know.
I like how immediately I just assume that you think it's alcohol, which is why you want it.
No, I just want a chocolate shot.
Oh, chocolate shot?
Yeah.
No, I need that. I need that pit roasted suckling pig. Then also on top of it, how do we know that kids only want pizza, chicken fingers, macaroni, cheese, and peanut butter and jelly?
We have a kid.
But what if they want all the other fun stuff? What if the kids are like, what the heck, man?
Well,
I want chocolate pig.
Then they'll eat it.
But they can't. They have to pay the adult price, I'm assuming.
Or they can just eat off their parents' plates.
Poor children.
Gabe.
Poor children.
We have a kid. What does she eat?
She would eat none of those things.
She doesn't even eat anything that's listed on the kid buffet.
That's a valid
she
point.
She lives off of waffles.
We would bring waffles and peanut butter. We'd bring her own dinner if that were the case. But this sounds like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The way it's described sounds amazing. Something that I would definitely do in a heartbeat. Like if we were staying at Lowe's Royal Pacific, I would 100% do this.
Definitely. Like I feel like it's something that when we went on our honeymoon, it's something that I thought about us doing. And then I decided that who are we kidding? We were going to be at the parks all day, every day. So I didn't push it.
What are you talking about?
This event.
This is at Universal.
Oh.
Why are you so... You just read that whole thing. You just read the whole thing.
It did say Lowe's Royal Pacific.
The first sentence is Universal Orlando Resort embraces the Aloha spirit.
Excuse me, you read that part.
No, it's in the first sentence of the whole thing. It says Universal Orlando Resort embraces.
Does.
Wow, you are just not with it today.
No, but the Polynesian Resort does have a luau too.
Yeah, I think it did.
It did because I thought about doing it for our honeymoon.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Okay.
I barely remember that.
Okay, there are lots of luau's going around, people, but honestly, this one sounds really cool.
No, this sounds fantastic, and the food actually sounds pretty spectacular.
It sounds
as well.
Amazing.
It's well described.
Yeah,
it's well described.
And that ticket price might throw some people off, but it's not just a dinner. It's a whole show, an event, you know?
Well, I mean, like even like if you were to compare it to something like what's that show with the jousting knights and crap?
Medieval Times.
Yeah, like if you were compared to Medieval Times, it's
or
about
that pirate one.
It's the same price.
Yeah.
Except I'd much rather do this because Medieval Times is kind of blah in general.
I've never been to Medieval Times.
You're not missing much. I mean, like, it's interesting.
And
like,
I don't like eating meat with my hands.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, there's no forks and knives. At least the last time I went, there was no forks and knives.
There probably are forks and knives if you throw a big enough of a fuss.
Yeah, if you throw a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat my fingers. Yeah, so I mean, like, I would take this over Medieval Times in a heartbeat. And honestly, if you're looking at it from like a perspective of like, if you were comparing it to something at Disney, I would assume that the Disney one would probably cost more.
I'm sure it would.
To be fairly honest, I mean,
yeah.
I think that's just what people are coming to associate with Disney is that it costs a pretty penny.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So $90 for a all you could eat. What is it? A buffet? Yeah, it's a buffet. All you can eat
and a show.
And a show.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, how much food could you eat? But at the same time, I don't personally think that $90 is a lot.
You know what, Gabe? We order Grubhub and we spend that much money.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So, well, I mean, that's LA prices, but come on. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, if anything, $40 for peanut butter and jelly that's a little expensive for a kid.
No, Steve, that's you're charging for the show.
Yeah, you're charging for the show only at that point.
Yeah.
So think about it that way. You're paying $40 for the show and $40 for a buffet. That ain't so bad.
Exactly.
So let's move on from regular theme park news and get a little spooky. Jump directly into haunting headlines. Nikki, let me ask you a question. This is a very important question that I think will really come to define the Halloween season. Now, can you tell me, when you think of the Halloween season, when you think of things that are spooky and scary and fun, what is the first thing to come to your mind?
Basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal.
100,000%.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, because the first time ever Shaqtoberfest Halloween event is coming to the iconic Queen Mary in Long Beach this October.
You couldn't even
I can't even get through it without laughing. Because when I got this email with this press release, as much as I am excited for it, I was not expecting
You were also confused.
this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Dark Harbor's not coming back. Okay, now it's Shaqtoberfest, but also Shaqtoberfest. And then the logo is just ridiculous. And then there's a press photo of him holding a pumpkin. It's just overall really silly and just not what you would come to expect.
Honestly, I'm down for it, though.
I mean, I'm 1,000% down. So, I mean, let's not mix anything up here.
Train takes us.
So, 15-time All-Star and Basketball Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal and ABG Entertainment today announced a partnership with 13th Floor Entertainment Group, the producers of world-class live events and location-based entertainment experiences, including LA's own Haunted Hayride, for the first time ever Shaqtoberfest Halloween event taking place at the iconic Queen Mary in Long Beach, California this October. Officially open to the public beginning in late September through Halloween, the interactive experience will be the ultimate Halloween destination for family-friendly trick-or-treating, ghoulish games, delicious treats, specialty libations, frightfully fun nighttime haunted trails, and exciting live entertainment that encapsulates O'Neal's playful personality. Halloween can't come soon enough, said O'Neal. 13th Floor Entertainment and I have some tricks up our sleeves to make this the most spectacular Halloween event ever. Located alongside one of Los Angeles' most haunted landmarks, Shaqtoberfest will include 6 thrilling Halloween-themed areas for guests to explore, each featuring Halloween trails, games, live entertainment, food, and beverage vendors, and more. The experience will be narrated by O'Neal's instantly recognizable voice. We are beyond thrilled to be partnering with Shaq and ABG Entertainment for a truly unique Halloween experience coming this fall, says Chris Stafford, CEO and founding partner of 13th Floor Entertainment. Shaqtoberfest will be unlike any other it won't be unlike any other Halloween event attraction that we have ever produced, and we'll be couldn't be more excited to be launching it at one of the area's most well-known locations and show our fans what we've created for them. Not to mention, we're really excited to be able to produce an event in Long Beach, which has a long-running history of hosting amazing Halloween celebrations. Each afternoon will provide family fun, trick-or-treat offerings and entertainment for children of all ages who are encouraged to dress in their favorite Halloween costumes. Come nighttime, the energetic lights and music turn on as the witching hour begins, unleashing O'Neal's ghoulish minions into the haunted trails and midways as the spirits of Shaqtoberfest are brought to light. We are incredibly excited to launch the first ever Shaqtoberfest, says Matt Goldstein, SVP of Entertainment and Special Projects at ABG Entertainment. Fans of all ages are going to have the time of their lives celebrating Halloween with Shaq. So, this sounds like, I think I saw a couple posts of people being confused that this was alongside Dark Harbor. It is not. It is a completely separate new event. There is no Dark Harbor this year. There's nothing on the ship. It is just taking place in that kind of quaint European village area outside of the Queen Mary. This also sounds like a day-night situation where the daytime is mostly for the fun, spooky stuff for kids and families, and then as the nighttime kind of starts to come into the picture, that's when spooky things kind of start to happen. Very similar to Fright Fest.
Yeah.
Where when the nighttime hits, that's when the ghouls come out and there's like a big show. And I'm assuming that that's probably what was going to happen. So, I mean, like, it does sound fun that there is this overall, family-friendly aspect to it, which is nice because there aren't a billion things to do for family-friendly stuff in Halloween.
Yeah.
There are some things, but not a ton. So it is nice to have that option. The thing that gets me the most is things that are going to be narrated by Shaq.
Just going to hear his voice everywhere.
Hey, welcome to Shaqtoberfest. Hope you have a good time. That's my Shaq. Thank you very much. I mean, I'll be here all day, folks. That to me is just it's just too funny because when I think of Shaq, I don't necessarily think of a speaker or like somebody to narrate anything.
Yeah.
So, but also the fact that this is in collaboration with 13th Floor is exciting because I do trust 13th Floor. 13th Floor has put on so many different and various great events since they've been around, and I've loved almost every single one of them. So that is at least encouraging to me for this event. I mean, other than that, being a Lakers fan, I'm just pumped for Shaq in general. So
yeah, definitely. I'm
pumped for absurdity. I want there to be a certain level of absurdity.
I think there will be. I honestly have no idea what to expect. So I'm down for whatever. Like, I'm just gonna go enjoy whatever happens.
I want one area to be Shaq's nightmares, and it's just free throws. That's all I want it to be the entire time, just a backboard and a hoop taunting him.
What if there's a game where it's like a free throw game, but there's like monsters all around you, and you have to like not be distracted by them? Yeah.
That is a deep cut, but I mean, I would do it in a heartbeat. If you don't know, Shaq is notorious for just being terrible at free throws, like really bad. They even made fun of him in Scary Movie for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a big piece of news that is very exciting. Something brand new for October, and I'm hoping it doesn't coincide with our trip to Orlando because
fingers crossed.
Our trip to Orlando is the end of September, early October. So I'm just hoping early October, meaning the second week of October.
Or late September, meaning the second to last week of September.
Yes, let's hope for that. But we do have one more piece of news, and this one is a fun and exciting piece coming out of Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, I don't have this one. You read it.
Okay, Halloween Horror Nights unleashes the horrors of Blumhouse, an all-new haunted house inspired by Blumhouse's freaky and upcoming supernatural thriller, The Black Phone. Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights features a double dose of terror inspired by the company regarded as the driving force in horror with the Horrors of Blumhouse, the House of Blum horror. Haunted houses, which brings to life Blumhouse's upcoming supernatural thriller, The Black Phone, and horror comedy Freaky. The frightening event begins at Universal Orlando Resort on September 2nd and Universal Studios Hollywood on September 8th. The Horrors of Blumhouse will transport guests into an alternate dimension where the scares are real and the stakes are life or death. In The Black Phone, which hits theaters till June 24th, the Grabber is a demented magician best known for his sinister trick of making people disappear permanently. Guests will find themselves trapped in his fun house, where the sound of ghostly voices whisper hints on how to escape. But guests must tread carefully to outwit and outrun the Grabber's twisted magic. Freaky will challenge guests to outrun the serial killer, the Butcher, who has switched bodies with a high school girl after being cursed by the La Dola dagger, an ancient Aztec blade. Guests will learn firsthand that looks can be deceiving as they enter the sweet-looking teen who is actually the Butcher, and she is determined to hunt down for the next victim. The countdown to the opening of Halloween Horror Nights on Thursday, September 8th begins as all tickets at Universal Studios Hollywood Terrifying event are now on sale. Tickets purchased online or at Universal Studios Hollywood front gate provide guests with early event admission and access to select haunted houses beginning at 6 p.m. each night of Halloween Horror Nights, subject to change. Universal Studios Hollywood offers a variety of Halloween Horror Nights ticket options, including General Admission, Universal Express, after 2 p.m. day-night tickets, the Premium RIP Tour, and Popular Passes, Frequent Fear, and Ultimate Fear, which allow guests to experience scares again and again. So one thing I do want to pinpoint on this, and something that we need to at least make known to people who are listening, I've seen The Black Phone, Nikki has not, we both have not seen Freaky.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're coming from in this conversation. But the way that they're describing the black phone or black phone is not at all what the movie is. Like, yes, and this isn't a spoiler at all. It's in the trailers. He says this line, Ethan Hawke, who plays the grabber, he drives around in a van that says abracadabra and it says magician. But I feel like describing him as a magician is the wrong way to go about it. I think that's just kind of like his kind of disguise, as it were. Because in the trailer, he comes up to the kid. He's like, hey, you want to see a magic trick? And he tricks him and kidnaps him. There is no magic. There's never magic. Nothing ever happens that's magic.
I feel like you should probably just watch the movies before you go, Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, I feel like when it comes to anything at Halloween Horror Nights, you should watch any of the films that they're going to have at the event. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that, above anything else, is probably one of the most important things to do before going to this event. Because you're going to have a good idea of what you're going to come face to face with, or understand the story, because things are just going to kind of feel disjointed and weird at times. I mean, there are mazes that I've gone into that I've not seen the particular films, but kind of get a gist of what's going on. Yeah. But there isn't that level of of appreciation for the recreation of certain scenes. Yeah, definitely. That kind of stuff. But I just feel like in general, that is just a very weird way to kind of talk about it, because it says, like, trapped in his fun, quote, fun house where the sounds of ghostly voices whisper hints on how to escape. That sentence alone is, like, the antithesis of what the movie is. It could just be the description and it's not anything like that. Exactly. Like, I'm just trying to say, like, let's not nitpick over a description and just wait till we see the maze.
We have a podcast. We have to talk about it.
Yeah, but we don't have to nitpick a description.
I'm going to nitpick the description because that's what they decided to put in it, and I think it was a weird description.
Okay.
And then also on top of that, that was Nikki's like, you're wrong, I'm right, but I'm going to just let it go. Okay, by the way.
Yes, sir.
What I'm very interested in seeing, in particular with Black Phone, is that there aren't like a ton of locations. There isn't, a billion locations that are super recognizable. The most recognizable location is the basement in which the kid is being held. And a lot of the movie takes place in that room. So I'm curious how they're going to flesh out the story and pad the runtime of the maze when a majority of the movie takes place in one room. It's like Saw. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. Like 90% of that movie takes place in one room. Where I would say like 75% of this movie takes place in this room.
Well, I think that's where the disembodied sounds in hallways comes in.
Yeah, but like without getting into too much detail, like there's only so much they could do. It's hard to go into it without being spoilery.
I don't want you to go into any more detail.
I'm not going to, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but just location wise, it's going to be interesting to see what they utilize and what they don't utilize. But there are other locations. There's just nothing that's like super stand out to me. It's like outside, a school, a sidewalk, stuff like that. So maybe they're going to be kind of having a little bit more fun with it as opposed to direct representation from the film, that kind of stuff. Because that's
what I think. Yeah. That's what I was trying to get at by saying, let's just see what they do and not be too nitpicky over the description. Because I think that with a movie with limitations like that and transferring it to a maze, I feel like they are going to take liberties.
Yeah, they're probably going to take liberties.
So we just have to wait and see what they do with it.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm excited to see it just because I actually loved the film. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It is super suspenseful. Very suspenseful. And I know that there are a few people who I was talking to who were nervous about going to see it because they thought it was going to be too scary. And for me, like the movie is more of a thriller with horror aspects rather than a horror movie with thriller aspects, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So, there are definitely some jump scares in there, but mostly suspenseful and things of that nature. So I am pretty pumped about that. And by the way, like the disembodied voices are like of the kids that he killed, because the whole premise to the thing is like the kid gets kidnapped. He picks up the black phone and the dead kids help him escape, essentially. So that's kind of the premise to the film. Now, we've not seen Freaky. I remember seeing trailers for it.
I don't even remember seeing trailers.
I remember seeing trailers for this. But, I mean, like, we should definitely watch this one just because it's the double feature.
Yeah, definitely.
House. And I don't want to leave one movie out.
Yeah.
You have two movies to see. I have one movie to see. But yeah, no, I'm pumped. It's a dual bi-coastal house for Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Studios Hollywood. And I believe in Hollywood, this house is going to be in the Waterworld, Waterworld Q.
Okay.
That's where I believe that this house is going to be going. So I haven't had great history in that location. Like, there have been some good houses there, but overall there have been a few good misses there too for me. So we'll see. That location hasn't been great, but I'm hopeful because I have enjoyed the Horrors of Blumhouse versions that they've had in the past. I remember going through the one in Orlando when we went for 27, and they had like that almost like gauntlet style ending where like all the villains were in one room. You kind of had to traverse them all, which was very cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't something that we've seen in Hollywood before like that. Putting everybody in one room. Usually everything's kind of like separated and categorized and like, this is this movie, this is this movie, this is this movie. And it's like, nope, all at once. Here you go. Which was very cool. So it'll be very interesting to see the two coasts side by side.
That's always fun when we get to compare.
That is very fun. So that ends Haunting Headlines. Let's jump into our trip report at Universal Studios Hollywood. So as we said at the beginning of this episode, this was our daughter's first, quote, big girl trip to Universal Studios Hollywood.
She met the height requirement, and it's her first trip back since COVID, so basically it was her first time there.
Yeah, I mean, like the last time she was there, I believe, was either for Grinchmas or we took her for a soft opening of Jurassic World, which we didn't take her on the ride. Don't worry. We didn't take her on it.
Let's just say she was in a carrier and we were still changing diapers. So there wasn't much for her to remember.
I mean, we did Kung Fu Panda and I sat in the non-moving seat with her.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it. But, you know, she, like Nikki said, she met the height requirement. She's 40 inches. So she could go on a lot of stuff at the park, which is fantastic for us because, you know, as theme park nerds ourselves, taking our kids to the park is probably some of the best things that we can do to kind of relive our childhood of going to the park and just seeing these parks in a different light. So going with her, we were both just pumped. Yeah. So pumped. So we actually went and we had Express. So let's kind of address that first and say that was a savior for the whole day.
Oh, yeah. We would have had a much different day without Express because it was hot and it was crowded.
Yeah, very hot, very crowded. And with a 3.5-year-old who is bouncing off the walls, who has a 5-second attention span. Yeah. You know, waiting in a 45-minute line for Minnie Mayhem probably is going to be a little bit difficult. You're probably going to lose your patience. So if you are going to Universal Studios Hollywood and you have kids of this age, 3.5, 4, 5.
It's worth it.
Splurge for Express. It was unbelievably worth it. And like throughout the entire day, we were both saying like, good God, thank God for this Express. Yeah. Because there was like no way we would have been able to survive on a day that was, one, that hot, which nobody can control. Yeah. And 2, that crowded, but it's summertime. So we knew what we were getting into. We knew, yeah. We knew what we were getting into. You know, theme parks during the summer are notoriously crowded. So it is what it is. You work with what you got. So, but we got Express, and that was well worth the price to kind of be able to approach the park at our leisure. This is the exact same way we kind of talk about Halloween events when we have, you know, front of line or Express, whatever it is for those things. Yeah. You get to approach it at your leisure and not have to stress about anything. And it took a lot of stress away because there's enough stress dealing with a 3.5-year-old as it is.
Yeah, you're spending the money to go, you know, don't spend the money for a trip you're going to just be miserable during. You know, make sure you have a good time. Spend the extra money, make sure you have a good time.
Exactly. And honestly, like when it comes to this trip, I don't think I was really fully aware of how she was going to react to a lot of this stuff. Yeah. Because it was it's so new. It's so overwhelming.
And she's a bit unpredictable these days with what she
doesn't
is excited about and stuff. Yeah.
What she's scared of, what she's not. It
changes daily. So.
Yeah. And, you know, Universal, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but Universal attractions are just inherently different than Knott's Berry Farm attractions, Six Flags attractions, or Disneyland attractions. Yeah. There are similarities, but they are very different. And they tend to err on the side of being a little bit slightly more intense than other parks.
Yeah.
So, especially when it kind of aims for like the kid side of stuff or like a little bit older kids.
Yeah.
Especially when the kids are tall enough, like our kid, which by the way, I think our kid at 3.5 is freakishly tall.
She is. Yeah.
You know, so
she's
a lot
definitely
of the
on the
things
younger side for.
A lot of things she got put on, I don't think she would typically go on.
Yeah. Flight of Hippogriff being one of them.
We'll get to that. If it weren't for her being tall enough. So, but I was a little nervous about her kind of reaction to things. I was nervous about how she was going to deal with the stress of being a little nervous or meeting characters, things like that. And, you know, to my surprise and to her credit, you know, Erin did really, really well.
She did
throughout
stellar
the entire
the whole day.
You know, we had minimal breakdowns. You know, 3.5-year-olds, you're going to have them.
Yeah.
But minimal.
Yeah.
Completely minimal. So we packed our lunches, packed a whole bunch of snacks for the kids so that she could have snacks in line, things like that. And we headed for the park. And, you know, first thing we did is we made sure we took a picture out front on the red carpet.
She posed like a movie star.
She posed like a movie star. Like, no freaking joke.
Yeah, like several different poses. Like, you know, I think our camera roll is full of just pictures of her on the red carpet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whenever we take pictures of her anywhere, she tends to do this, but, like, she hammed it up big time on this one. So we brought her into the park. I was holding hands with her, which, by the way, like, incredible. Just, like, kind of parental moment is just, like, walking with your kid into a theme park and holding their hand.
Yeah.
And them just kind of taking it in and being with them in that moment is just really, really special.
Uh-huh.
And as we watch into the park, you know, we pass by, like, some of the main stores, and she's looking around, she's pointing at stuff and, you know, talking about things. And she caught Marilyn Monroe out of the corner of her eye, and she immediately was like, I go there, you know, and pointing over there.
She
so I knew
to meet her.
I knew she wanted to meet Marilyn Monroe, so we took her over there, and she had her, actually he's right over here, her stuffed owl that she picked out in Wizarding World before the pandemic when she was a baby.
Like, she was like 1.5.
She picked him out, and we bought it for her. So she was carrying it with her. And when she went to go meet Marilyn, she had it.
Her howl. She calls it a howl.
So Marilyn came down on her knees and talked with Erin, gave her a hug, talked to her about her owl, all that stuff. And you know, huge kudos to characters for taking that moment with kids and not just placating them, you know, not like, hey, you're cute, let's take a photo, okay, bye.
Them,
like, they stop.
Like, what's your owl's name?
Yeah.
And Erin said, hoo hoo.
She goes, hoo, yeah. You know, they do take a moment with them. They don't push them away and try to make it quick.
Yeah.
It's a nice, slow moment.
Yeah. And Erin just had this starstruck look in her eyes the whole time. It was so cute. I mean, she has no idea who Marilyn Monroe is, but
no, not at all.
She's like, oh, that lady's pretty. I would take a picture.
I mean, like, if you've been listening to the show, and I think we've brought it up multiple times, but Erin tends to gravitate towards women. Like, that's just been her thing.
You know, princesses,
pretty makeup.
She always compliments me when I put on a dress. Like, she's very, you know, like,
whatever it is, she's just gravitated towards that. So when she sees a pretty woman in a dress with makeup on or anything, or really just a pretty woman in general, she wants to go say hi.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just kind of what she does.
We'll get to it later, but even like Helen from Waterworld, she was all about that, you know? So it's like, just, you know, kind of like the role models, you know, female figures. Like, she's all about that right now. So
we had a game plan coming into the park, but I think the game plan kind of just went out the window.
It did, yeah.
Because instead of game plan, we just kind of went with roll with the punches, make it work, just let the day unfold the way the day unfolds, as opposed to trying to fit everything into the plan that we wanted to happen.
Exactly.
Which I think is good when having a kid at a theme park, because if you come into a day at the park with your kids, you have these grand plans and you have like all these things you want to do in a particular order, you're just going to get disappointed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the kids are going to be kids. Kids are going to want to do what they want to do. And it's just easier to go with the flow when it comes to them and just figure it out along the way and like play it by ear.
Which was a great thing about today, you know, because it's not like or the other day, because you know, it can get a bit stressful when you're at other parks and you're like, oh, we have a 5:00 return time for blah blah blah, and then your kid's like, but I want popcorn or anything, I need pee, you know. So it's like, Yeah, so this kind of go with the flow day that we had was just like perfect. There were no like timed things we needed to get to except for the lights later.
That and Waterworld.
Oh, and Waterworld.
Those were the only two things that had like start times that we had to get to, but that never became an issue. So thank God. But we also planned ahead on how we wanted to approach those things. So that was actually very helpful.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that we had ample time or planning ahead, like, okay, we're going to be there early, so we're going to have a snack there and do all these things. So that's kind of worked out in our favor. And, you know, what was the first thing we did? I think the first thing we did was Secret Life of Pets.
So it's right there.
And then we did we meet Frankenstein on the way
we met Frankenstein on the way to Secret Life of Pets.
So met Marilyn, went left.
Around the corner, yeah.
And Frankenstein's monster was over there. And I was super pumped because Frankenstein's my best friend. I love him to death. But I wanted Aaron to meet him because we have a video and pictures of Aaron as a little baby, like a little nugget with Frankenstein. And she's holding out her hand, touching his hand.
Yeah.
And it's the most adorable thing. So I wanted to see if she would be like game to do it again. She wasn't game to do that, but
she wasn't completely.
She wasn't terrified because he's on my shirt. I talk about him. She knows who he
videos. Is. Yeah. So she waved hello. She was timid, but you know, she was for meeting him, but she didn't want to like take a picture too close or give him a hug
like give him a high five.
She made you hold her. Yeah, for a picture.
But she liked seeing him, and then even when we left, she's like, "I like Frankenstein. He's nice."
And then when we went back way later in the day, like I'd say
like hours,
towards like 7:30 or so.
Hours.
We went over and we sat at a table and ate by where we saw him, and she's like, "Where'd Frankenstein go?" She was like looking.
She remembered him. So the first attraction that we went on was Secret Life of Pets. Aaron's tall enough for that, so we went through the express queue, and it cut out a huge chunk of that line, which was pretty fantastic. But she was just enthralled because she got to see the animatronic dogs in the queue, the video in the queue, and Snowball, the bunny animatronic too. She just was entranced by all of it.
I think for this first particular ride, I think she was like kind of getting her bearings, you know.
Big time.
You know, she didn't go into this knowing what the day was going to hold, so she had no idea what to expect. So I think that first ride was a little overwhelming for her.
Concept of animatronics rides, dark rides, slow moving, anything like that kind of stuff it's non-existent for kids.
Exactly. So
how do you explain that?
She was just taking it all in, wide eyes. She was like, at certain points, she was like pointing and waving at the animals.
So Nikki rode with Aaron and I rode in the car behind them. So I was taking videos for TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you were taking videos and pictures of Aaron and stuff. And I've seen videos of her in the ending room where she was just pumped because the ending is the party with all the dogs,
she was so
all the animals doing stuff, and she was pointing and waving at characters and stuff. But how was she throughout the rest of the attraction where you like see yourself as a dog, all the other crazy stuff is happening. You go through the cat alley, the explosions, the fireworks. Like how was everything else?
So the whole plot of the ride completely went over her head.
I'm not shocked by that.
So the whole it's adoption day, we're getting adopted, we're dogs, like that totally didn't even register with her. And for 90% of the ride, like up until the end, she was just wide eyes and staring and taking it all in. Occasional pointing, that's about it. Like I would point stuff out to her and she would like look in the direction that I was pointing, but she was just overwhelmed, but like in a good way, you know.
Just wide eyes. Yeah, wide eyes is just like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah, so she was just taking it all in. And then when we got to that last room, that was the first time I heard her utter a word, and she's like, a party! Balloons! Look at that dodo! So she was super psyched.
Things she recognized.
I feel like that last room finally let her like click back into like herself. I feel like she's having an out-of-body experience the rest of the time. And so she like came back into reality. She was grounded by familiar things. And then as soon as we got off, she's like, I want to go again. I want to go again.
Yeah, she really, really liked it. And this was your first time on the ride.
That was my first time too.
So I've been on it a bunch of times just because I have a pass and Nikki doesn't. But how did you enjoy it?
I thought it was super cute.
It's adorable.
I thought it was like an amazingly cute ride. I thought the part that I did see was super elaborate and awesome and cute, and it kept you entertained while you were waiting. And the ride was just so fun, and it felt super long.
It's a pretty a hefty ride in terms of length. And the stuff that you didn't see in the queue is pretty much you're walking through different apartments. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, no, I've seen videos of the queue.
Yeah,
I've seen videos.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
And for Universal, having that many animatronics in one attraction is pretty awesome. Like I said, the only downside to the attraction itself is the restraint system. Like, it just seems very restrictive for a slow-moving Omni-Mover attraction.
Yeah, definitely. And, but everything seemed to be working too, which was good. You know, it's not like there was a cat like not moving.
Actually, there was one cat that wasn't moving.
Oh, okay, Mr. See It All.
It was the cat that was going on the piano.
He was moving his paws.
He's supposed to be moving back and forth like he's walking on the piano.
Oh, see, I had no idea that's what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's supposed to move
me,
back
he
and
was
forth.
working.
Yeah, he worked fine.
I guess
if you
maybe
don't
that
know.
was plan B, like default.
It just looks like he just is stepping in place as opposed to walking, which is
Yeah.
fine. But overall, it's just a fun attraction, and Aaron loved it.
Yes.
Because there's dogs.
Yeah, dogs and cats.
It's an easy concept to kind of grasp for a kid.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this. The one thing that I did that I didn't think about it prior, but I did afterwards, and I made sure she did it on the other ones that had the opportunity to do it, but I put her in the tester seat.
Yeah.
I put her in the tester seat.
So she could see what to expect.
Yeah, I was like, this is what it's like. Yeah. Pull down the restraint, and I showed her it, and she did it herself. You know, just to get her used to the idea of like, this is what it's going to feel like. We're going to put down the restraints. You're going to sit there with mama and all that stuff. And it just, I feel like just going through those motions kind of helps it click in her head just a little bit more. Even though the concept of restraints and ride vehicles and everything like that is just completely foreign.
Yeah.
The idea of I'm next to mama, I do this is good enough for her to be able to understand what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So after that, we went on Minion Mayhem, my absolute favorite attraction in the world. But I was pumped to go on it with Aaron. And this was the one that I think, like, out of the day, she probably was the most pumped about.
She was so excited.
And the thing is, like, she's not, like, super familiar with Minions. I feel like she's more familiar with Secret Life of Pets than she is Minions. Yeah. Because she watched that movie a lot.
She hasn't watched...
Not in a while, though.
She hasn't
watched Minions.
No, she's...
Or Despicable Me.
I've put them on, but they don't hold her attention.
No, not at all. Yeah. I feel like it's for a little bit of an older age group.
Yeah.
But once again, went over her head. She definitely got startled at the fart gun joke in the queue. Like, she really jumped big time.
Yeah, but then we made a joke. I was like, it's stinky now. She's like, haha, yeah, it is.
Stinky.
Yeah.
So after that, we went to go sit down, and we had our own row.
Yeah.
And we were in the back row.
Yeah.
There was nobody in front of us, was there?
There were people in front of us.
I don't even remember seeing them.
It's pretty staggered, so they were pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stadium seating cars.
Yeah.
But I was a little nervous about this one because it's a motion simulator. She's never been on something like that. She hasn't been on anything.
Yeah.
But she hasn't been on a motion simulator. It can be a little jerky at times. It can be a little intense at times. So I wasn't quite sure how she was going to react. And like Secret Life of Pets, most of the attraction, she was kind of wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And just kind of like taking it in. But she never grabbed onto you. She had her hands on the restraint, and she was enjoying it. But as soon as the ending of the attraction happened, where it was like happy,
the same
roller
as Secret
coaster,
Life of
balloons,
Pets. Yeah.
she was cheering and laughing and like
giddy
pointing
laughter, yeah.
and all that stuff. So once the ride ended, and she was like, I want to go again. Mama, Papa, can we go again? Mama, Papa, I want to do that again.
I want to go again. I want to go again.
So she was just unbelievably pumped about the ending of Minions.
Yeah.
So once we left, we went on. I don't remember the name of the ride. It's like Happy Swirly something. It's the Dumbo attraction, but in the Minions area.
Yeah.
And she loved that. It's a very simple attraction. Yeah. She was able to control it, go up and down. I sat next to her for that one. Yeah. Which is a rare occurrence.
Yeah, and I was in the bug in front, like taking pictures and videos behind me.
And she was pumped about this one. I feel like it's just a very simplistic style attraction. Easy for her to get her head around and enjoy being up high and spinning around in circles. She loved it.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, by the way, there's this whole water section next to that, and we were totally prepared to go in there. We had
swimsuits for her.
Towels, change of clothes for me and for her and for you and everything, but she just never really wanted to go in. Plus, It was packed.
It was packed, yeah. So I think we kind of she distracted herself actually by like those little carnival games.
I just think in general it was just completely like overload for her.
Yeah.
So much stuff going on. I mean, you have the sounds of the rides, the water, the games, people, music. Like there's a lot going on. So she was just sensory overload. So it's probably the reason why she didn't even notice it.
Yeah, she didn't even notice the water area, thank goodness.
But she did notice the game, so we went over and played some games, and surprisingly, she won one on her own.
She won!
So it was like a Plinko game, and it was essentially, you pay $15, you get 3 discs. If you land in a 3 banana, you get the large prize. If you land in a single banana or a 2 banana, you get medium or small. She landed in the 3 banana immediately.
So we got a big Minion ice cream cone, literally as big as half of her. Like it's huge.
It was huge. Yeah. And then, which we posted a lot of pictures on Twitter and Instagram. So if you want to go to either one of those at Theme Park Duo, check those out and you can see the pictures that we're talking about. And then she really wanted to play the water shooting gun, the water gun game. So I paid for Nikki to play and for Aaron to play. And Nikki,
I'm pretty good.
Nikki's
good at
very
the water
good
game.
at it.
Yeah.
So Nikki wrecked a family's dreams of getting toys.
Yeah.
And won our childhood
I
toy.
completely annihilated 2 like 8-year-olds. So
good job. I hope you're proud of yourself.
I am, because my daughter got a unicorn toy. The unicorn from
the movie, which she goes, "It's so fluffy."
Yeah. So Aaron got that, super jazzed. We took a picture of her with like both her big
at
stuffed
the
animals.
Of the super
now
silly,
she's gonna
fun
expect
playland.
to win something like that every time we see a carnival game. So oops, but you know, she was living her best life. And then we saw the Minions,
which I wasn't expecting her to have the reaction that she did.
She was like, oh, she got super excited,
jacked. Like,
and
she was so pumped.
We got in line and we were next, and she's like, heck no.
She wanted nothing to do with them.
Yeah, so Gabe had to take a picture with the Minions.
She did the thing where she's like pointing in the opposite direction because I don't want to go there. She was terrified.
Yeah.
Which, you know, she met 2 other face characters, or she met Marilyn and she met Frankenstein. Totally fine with them. Wanted nothing to do with the Minions.
Minions, no way.
I don't know what it was.
I don't know either.
Is it just the fact that they have like these weird frozen expressions on their face?
Maybe, because like Frankenstein is a static expression too, but it's more like just relaxed. But like the Minions expressions are like manic. And you know what I mean? So I can see how that could be a little off-putting. And in the movies, the Minions are really small, and these are like giant sumo wrestlers.
They're pretty big.
So I can see how just kind of like weird. But anyway, she was not about it. So we left, and we went to the lower lot, I think.
We had snacks, so we took like a small break, water, snacks, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then we went to the lower lot. So actually, I think we went to the lower lot. We went to the lower lot, and Erin loved the escalators.
That was her favorite part of the whole day.
Throughout the entire day, I think she was most pumped about it because even leaving the park, going back to the parking structure, she got pumped about the escalator going up into the parking structure.
By the food court. Yeah,
so
that one.
She was just so pumped about escalators, so she was having a ball.
If we literally just went in to the park and went up and down the escalators all day, she would have been happy.
I honestly agree. I don't disagree at all. So our main objective of going down to the lower lot was just to get food.
Yeah.
Because the food that we brought, we were going to save for dinner. But it was so crowded, we didn't want to wait in any lines, so we just ended up eating the food that we had and let Erin kind of decompress in her stroller with the hood up and stuff like that. So Nikki got to ride Jurassic World, and then I rode right after her. So we did get some big kid rides in, which was nice. Took some pictures of Super Nintendo World. Aaron got to see the gigantic like Triceratops dinosaur, not blue, the Triceratops. This thing is big. She was pretty nervous. Like we were really close to it.
She liked it, but then it started to do like this thing where it like shook its head, kind of like is it that called braying when a horse does it?
Something
you know
like
what
that.
I mean? Like when they go and they shake their head. When the baby Triceratops started doing that, she's like, "Get me out of here! It is getting rabid. Like it's gonna attack."
At least she wasn't trying to crawl out of my arms.
No, but she kept doing the thing where she was pointing.
She was pushing up against me pretty hard.
So she was ready to go,
and I wasn't moving because I was like, "It's fine.
Yeah,
it's a dinosaur. It ain't gonna do nothing." And I kept saying, "Like, look how cute it is. Is it cute?" She goes, "Yeah." Like, it's a little girl. She goes, "Yeah, it's a little girl. Really cute."
And then it shook its head.
And then she was like,
"Get me out of here." But anyway, so we rode Jurassic World. We let Erin chill out in her stroller. We just, did a loop, but it was pretty busy. And then we went back up the escalator.
Yeah, so that was a pretty quick trip down there. And then as we went back up, we were going to go on Simpsons. It broke down. Initially, we were going to go on Simpsons. We thought like maybe it was going to be a little bit too much for her. Maybe just a little bit too inappropriate. But we decided against it. We went with our gut and just to kind of go on it. But it broke down, so we left and decided to put her on something that was much better, which was Flight of the Hippogriff. Which, in retrospect, I think putting her on Flight of the Hippogriff might have been a mistake. Not that she hated it. It is definitely a bit more intense than I think that
she was expecting.
She was expecting.
Yeah.
She is tall enough. I put her in the tester seat.
Yeah.
She saw the roller coaster. She said she wanted to go on it.
Actually,
so it's not like we're forcing our kiddo onto something she didn't want to do.
No, she was all for it.
She saw it.
She sat down.
She was pumped and wanted to do it.
The surprising thing is that Flight of the Hippogriff, the height requirement is actually an inch lower than like Minions and Secret Life of Pets. It was only 39.
It's because it must just be like what it does.
Maybe. But anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. The one thing Erin didn't like, and I forgot to tell you this before, the restraints on Flight of the Hippogriff, they lock you in at your ankles too.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like Mummy. Like they push against your shins.
She did not like that. So like,
because she likes kicking her legs out.
Yeah. So she kept trying to put her feet above that bar, and the attendant kept pushing her feet below it, and finally just locked her in. And she's like, "My feet don't move. My feet don't move. My feet are stuck." And so she couldn't get past it. It was like a mental block for her. But then we started going, but she definitely didn't like that. But then
see, like that's one thing that like I wanted like just to take a sidestep.
Yeah.
Is like that's one thing about taking kids to theme parks and them not having any preconceived notion of what it's like or what going on rides is like, and something that you have to get them used to is restraints.
Yeah.
And is not being able to move.
Yeah.
Because, on an everyday basis, you don't have those sorts of things.
Yeah. And
so being able to at least explain to a child and have them comprehend the idea of a restraint, and like, hey, it's okay. We know, like, it's fine. It's meant to be like this is difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
And so when she sat in the tester seat, she probably had her legs kicking. She probably didn't even put them in the ankle part. She did. So she didn't even know it was coming. So that might be something if you're coming with a little kid and it's their first time, you might want to put them in the tester seat and be like, okay, this is gonna lock your legs in, but you'll be okay. Just warn them.
Just at least try to get the idea across, and it may not go across, and you may surprise them once you get there, but at least try to explain it, because that is a very hard concept to kind of go about doing. But they locked her in. We go, and by the way,
honestly, she forgot about her legs.
They were front row. They were front.
We were
front
row. Yeah.
So they were in the very front.
As soon as we started going, she forgot about her legs being locked in. And so she was all for it, like going up the little hill, and she was fine. She was like, giddy noises.
She saw Buckbeak, and she was super pumped.
And then the moment it did that like spiral thing, what's that called?
It's like a helix.
Little helix. She
turtled.
Her head went back, her chin went into her chest, and she was like, ugh! She did not like it. I guess she didn't like that feeling, or it was pretty intense. Probably,
it's an intense feeling. I mean, like how do you explain to a kid that kind of stuff?
Yeah, but then after that, we did a few little things, and she was like, ha 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 ha, so she was trying to like
manic laughter.
No, she was trying to like it, and then we were done, and she was like kind of quiet, and then when we were getting out, she said, "Too scary," but like in kind of her playful way.
But didn't she, once we came to a stop, didn't she actually say like, "That was fun"?
She did say that was fun.
She said that was fun, and she clapped.
But then as soon as we were like getting out, she said, "Too scary," but like in kind of her melodramatic way that she does.
Well, she said, like, but she also said it very calm. Yeah. Our kid, but also our kid is not the type of kid to absolutely flip out.
No,
she
kind of stuff. She just said that too scary.
Yeah, too scary.
So but I feel like she might write it again, like if we go in like 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So I don't think she is like off it forever, because it wasn't that type of a negative reaction. It was just like I don't want to go on that again.
Well, there was happiness mixed into it as the thing.
There was,
like,
yeah.
The happiness of going up the hill, the happiness of like that first little dip, and even parts of the roller coaster that weren't that first helix, the little bumps and turns and stuff that she was laughing at and she liked and she enjoyed. Even at the end when it stopped, the first gut reaction was that was fun.
I think
overall, I think that's the important thing is that like that gut reaction of roller coaster stopped, we're done. She said that was fun. If she said too scary immediately or tried to grab onto you or something, then I would be like, maybe let's not put her on it ever again until she's like old enough for me to actually have a conversation with her. But the fact that her reaction was so genuinely positive initially makes me feel good about just the impression that it's left.
Yeah, no, I think her saying too scary, and this is coming from us, we know her inside now.
Yeah.
I think that was more her saying, because every other ride she got off and she's like, I want to go again. To me, her saying too scary, kind of calmly, it was more just I'd rather not go on that again. We're done with that one. Let's go do something else. That's what it was like.
To give an example, when I went on Jurassic World, there was a family that was sitting next to me, and after the drop, the little girl was crying, sobbing, crying in her mother's chest. That is that first reaction to an intense attraction. Erin didn't have anything like that the entire day.
Yeah.
Even to Hippogriff.
Yeah.
None of her reactions were sobbing, crying, scared, freaking out. Everything was overwhelmingly positive. And even her, too scary was just like you said, it was just I'd rather try something else real quick. As opposed to never again, don't want to do it, too scary, I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing in my opinion. So, I am happy that we did it.
Yeah.
In retrospect, maybe we could have passed it up, but she had fun. She enjoyed it. She laughed. She had a great time. She definitely went through all the emotions.
She did. Honestly, it was, as a parent, it was amazing to see.
Nikki was laughing the entire time.
I was laughing at her facial expressions the whole time. It was amazing.
Yeah. So after Hippogriff, we grabbed ice cream and we headed over to Waterworld. So Waterworld, I think, was probably the only thing the entire day that I was almost 100% certain she was going to hate. This kid has a very short attention span. And I mean, she enjoys watching her cartoons and the shows she enjoys, but overall, her attention span isn't great.
Yeah.
So putting it into a show where the concept of stunts it's not going to connect in a kid's head.
Yeah.
But what I didn't think about was the comedy that was involved
in the beginning,
the emotions that are involved, and just the overall spectacle, which kind of all of it together kept her attention the whole time.
The audience participation, I think, helped a lot.
We also sat in the spot where you can get wet, and that also helped a lot. So she was having a blast because the crew who runs Waterworld at the beginning are absolutely stellar. They are some of the best groups of people to keep crowds entertained. They do such a good job, and it's such a fun atmosphere. And whenever they sprayed the crowd, Erin was just giggling and laughing. The dude's like, who wants to get wet today? And Erin raised her hand up willingly. It's not like we were like, hey, Erin, do you want to do it? She just did it herself.
The guy was like, who here has heard of a smoker? Who knows what a smoker is? And she's like,
referencing the characters from the film.
The characters from the movie, yeah. She's like, I do.
Yeah, so she was actively involved in it, which, I wasn't expecting at all. And she was having a good time. And once the show started, she was pumped from the get-go. When people cheered, she cheered. When people booed, she booed. When people were booing and giving thumbs down, she was doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
And she was with it with every emotion along the beats of that story. And the character that she happened, as we referenced earlier, the character that she happened to gravitate towards was Helen, who was the woman. And so throughout the entire show, she was very concerned about Helen, very concerned about her safety.
Yep.
If she was okay, where did she go? What is she doing?
When she gets knocked out at the part where she
gets hit in the back with the balsa wood stick. Yeah, she gets
hit in the back. Erin would not take her eyes off of her the whole time she was lying on the ground. She was just staring at her.
She kept asking questions.
Is she okay? She okay? And I was like, look, she's moving. She'll be fine. She's just resting. You know, so it's like she was like on it, like watching her. And it's like anytime Helen was doing something even small, like climbing a ladder, and there was other action going on, like the main thing you're supposed to be focused on, she's like, where's Helen? You know? It was so funny.
And when that plane comes over the edge of that on the edge of the set, I was recording the plane going, but I was looking at Aaron as it was happening. And our dishes are done if you hear that noise in the background. I was looking at Erin, and her eyes were just wide, like as wide as they can be, because it's like, as a kid, how do you even comprehend what's happening? And this giant thing is flying at you.
Yeah.
And then it explodes water all over you.
Yeah.
So she was enjoying it. The only part that like scared her was the finale, where you have like the gigantic explosions, the fire, the fireworks, like it's big. Like even when you didn't know, I didn't tell you this, but when I was sitting down with Aaron waiting for Nighttime Lights, the last show of Waterworld was going on, and it was loud. Like the explosions are really loud. And so the lady next to me is like having a panic attack, thinking there's like a terrorist attack happening.
Geez.
And I was like, no, don't worry. It's just Waterworld. She goes, what? Like, and I had to like give the whole explanation, but like, it's loud, it's big, it's intimidating. You could feel the heat from the fire, like big time.
Yeah.
And Aaron was like,
yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
But I was cheering and I was clapping. So she saw me doing that. And so she was like, yeah. So she started doing it too. So, you know, the way that we react definitely reflects against how she's going to react.
Yeah.
So she, like, to my surprise and to her credit, she enjoyed Waterworld.
It was like
significantly more than I was expecting.
Definitely a highlight.
And I told her, I was like, hey, sometimes they take pictures after me, so maybe we'll go see the lady. And she got so excited. And Nikki went out to get the stroller, and I went over there, and Erin saw the actress walk from backstage to the area where she was meeting people, and she was pumped. She was like dragging me, like pulling me, holding my hand, Papa, this way. And she wanted to meet her. And once again, huge credit to the actress who played Helen, because she didn't just push her away and be like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, picture, bye.
Yeah. Went
down on one knee, talked to her. I let her know, I was like, she was very concerned about you the entire show. And she was just so like touched by Erin's approach and what Erin said and what I said. She gave her a big hug, talked to her for a moment, gave her high fives. I'm fine, don't worry, and took pictures and everything. Like, that meant the world to our kiddo. Like, all those moments make the world to her.
Yeah.
So that was a very memorable moment.
Definitely. Gabe's getting all choked up. Oh, big softy.
Stop it. Stop.
No, it was honestly, I even got choked up. I made it back with the stroller just in time to get a video of that interaction, and the look on her face was just priceless.
We posted a TikTok today, actually, for like a kind of a compilation of the day, and literally everything we're talking about, like,
it's in the video.
It's in the video.
Everything.
Like meeting Helen, meeting Frankenstein, meeting Marilyn Monroe, pointing on pets, being on Minions, like literally everything. The only thing we didn't have was turtling on Hippogriff.
Yeah, because phones
we couldn't put our phones out. But watch that video on our TikTok at the Theme Park Duo. You'll see the video and all those little moments. So it was just really cool. So
yeah.
After Waterworld, we decided that we needed to get some food. So we headed over to, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's right next to the Parisian Square, right where the Halloween Horror Nights maze is being built, right across the way from the diner. And so we went in there. We got some sides for our dinners that we brought. So we had our tuna sandwiches, got some mac and cheese, which...
we split a turkey sandwich.
Oh, we did split a turkey sandwich. Sorry,
we ate the tuna sandwiches for lunch.
Yeah, you're right. So we split a turkey sandwich, got a mac and cheese. Erin ate her dinner, and we also had some beers that we had purchased earlier. We put in our cooler to keep cold. So we had our drinks and just kind of chilled out, and talked about everything. And even when we were done there, Erin had like the entire Universal Plaza to run around.
Oh yeah, she had the zoomies big time, so she was running around. She had a blast.
I think at that point she had hit her second win.
Oh yeah.
So, because even she was tired at a certain point, and like you could tell, like on the kid's face when they're tired.
Yeah.
And even if you're like, "Are you tired?" No, me not tired. You're tired,
yeah,
kid.
She's tired.
She hit her second one, so she was running around being wacko and crazy. So that was when we decided to go on The Simpsons, because it was back up and running. So we went on The Simpsons. She was actually really enthralled by the queue because there was cartoons playing The Simpsons, of course, and the cartoons that play the pre-show videos, and Apu and the Marge's sisters and all that stuff. She was very enthralled by all of that, even though she didn't understand the jokes or anything that was going on. Cartoon's a cartoon, in her eyes. Yeah. So what we decided to do was, because we just didn't want her seeing it, because the safety video is Itchy and Scratchy. If you don't know Simpsons, Itchy and Scratchy is a cartoon within the world of The Simpsons, and the whole joke about Itchy and Scratchy is that they try to kill each other constantly.
Yeah.
And they always succeed. So there's some violent outcome. Whether or not skinning, blood, gore, guts, explosions, skeletons.
Dismemberment.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that I just don't think that Aaron should watch yet. So we watched the pre-show video where Maggie gets really big and all the stupid jokes about Grandpa Simpson having a heart attack, an aneurysm, a stroke, all that stuff. I'm laughing my butt off because I find those jokes really funny. But then as soon as the safety video started, which is Itchy and Scratchy, we just kind of turned away. We talked about the words on the wall and what colors and that kind of stuff, and that distracted her enough for her not to want to watch it.
Yeah. And then we got on the ride. We were front row.
Front row, which I wasn't sure how she was going to react with this one, just because it is very similar to Minions, but I'm going to be very honest, like it did not age well.
It's
like,
a little rough.
It is really rough.
Even without it being rough and aged, it's just more intense than Minions, for sure.
So as soon as basically the moment, so if you've been on The Simpsons, basically the whole gist of the attraction is you're Sideshow Bob's trying to kill the Simpsons family, and you happen to be going on the same ride that they are, and you're flying all over the place. And as the roller coaster car that comes off the tracks and flies into Krusty's mouth, and we bounce into the kid ride, Erin had grasped onto you at that point.
Yeah. She was like attached to my arm.
She was nervous.
She was nervous, but she was like watching and totally like into it. But she was like, I'm just gonna hold on to your arm.
And there was times where she closed her eyes or put her face into you, which is fine. Like reactions like that are totally fine in my book. Even if getting off the ride, she's like, I enjoyed that, or I didn't like that. Those reactions are fine.
Yeah.
If she was sobbing, screaming, crying, I'd be like, yeah, let's never do that again.
Yeah.
But there were certain parts that she enjoyed of the attraction. But the thing is that like very much like Hippogriff, she was holding on to you, put her face into you. She was watching a lot of it, soaking it all in. And as the ride descended back down right before we got off, she goes, that was fun.
Yeah.
I like that.
She loved it. She would have gone back on.
Yeah, she would have gone back on. So, like, even though she was holding on to Nikki, she said she loved it.
Yeah.
She literally, as we were leaving, she's like, we do that again?
Yeah.
So she really enjoyed the Simpsons ride, which I was not expecting at all. So big kudos to her for being able to be a big girl and get through it.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah, that ride has not aged great. One thing that I noticed was that whenever the cars did some like pretty intense movement, the vibrations from the attraction actually shook the projectors. So the image got blurry for like a hot second because those things were happening, which is slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. Can't really do anything about it. But it's not something Aaron's going to notice at all.
Yeah.
Going on an attraction like that. But yeah, she thoroughly enjoyed it. I was pretty shocked, but I'm glad that she did it. I'm glad that we went on it because it was like one of those moments, and I think a lot of it too, when I think back on these moments, is the way we're reacting.
Oh, 100%.
And I think we kind of take this approach to parenting in a lot of aspects is usually when a kid is scared, they look to the parent or whoever's there for a reaction. Like let's say a kid falls down and mom goes, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
that panic and that fear, the kid knows it, and they're going to start crying. They pick up on it. So something that we've talked about since having Aaron is we're never going to do that.
Yeah.
We're always going to laugh or cheer or be happy about it. You know, if she's really hurt, she'll let us know.
Yeah.
And then we'll step in and take care of it and approach it in an appropriate manner. But if she falls down, like, oh, you fell down.
Yeah.
Let's get back up. Let's keep going. Or, you know, that kind of stuff. And the same thing with these attractions. You know, these attractions are pretty intimidating. They're pretty intense. They're pretty crazy for a 3.5-year-old who happens to be tall enough to go on these things. And so our reaction is like, woo, yeah, this is so much fun. Oh my goodness.
She picks up on it.
She picks up on it.
Like she still makes her own, you know,
judgment call on whether she wants to ride it or not.
But I think our vibes help a lot for sure.
100%. They help a ton. And after Simpsons, that's when I think we kind of decided to head over to Hogsmeade to
wait for the lights.
Wait for nighttime lights.
Yeah.
Park it, let Aaron have a little turn-off time, a chill-out time. I got to relax, do some TikTok stuff, and Nikki went on Forbidden Journey, which how was Forbidden Journey?
It was fine. I mean, it's also aged. Yeah. So it stopped twice. And one bad thing about that is, like, if you stop at a spot that's like a projector screen, it just goes white.
Oh, it does?
It does. It just goes white. And it doesn't come back on when the ride comes back on. So like we stopped immediately, like when you're starting to fly next to Ron and Harry, like, you know, down towards the castle, like immediately Ron and Harry come into frame and it shuts off and goes white. And so we're just chilling there. And then the ride starts moving again, but the screen doesn't come back on. So you're just going through all the motions, just staring at a blank screen.
I mean, that's probably pretty cool, though. As a nerd, like, that sounds pretty cool, because you could probably see a lot of the stuff and how the mechanism works and how the ride works and that kind of stuff.
I was definitely peering around, And then the second time we stopped abruptly was when you're kind of swooping back into the castle and you see everyone cheering in the Great Hall at the very end. When I say this ride stopped abruptly, it stopped so abruptly that it like smashed my cheek into the side, and it hurt a lot. And it's not like I was like craning my neck all the way out. My head was just chilling on my neck, as it does, and boom, you know. And so like it was not a gentle.
It was jarring.
It was not a gentle stop. So we stopped twice. I don't know if it was to, you know, let someone, you know, handicap get on, but they should have eased us into it a bit more. Very abrupt.
Yeah, it must just be those brakes or how the mechanism works.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. But that ride is still pretty dang fun.
Yeah, I mean it's still cool. I enjoyed myself. So yeah, I had a good time on it. Yeah. Yeah.
So as Nikki came back out, I went around and just kind of walked in and out of the stores until it started to get dark, and finally got dark, and then nighttime lights. Which, I mean, that was kind of the reason why we were there. We just kind of turned into a family day.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen Nighttime Lights at Hogwarts Castle, it is a nighttime projector show at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And there are multiple times that you can see the show, because the show is not very long. So it's like every 15, 20 minutes or something like that. Uh-huh. So you pretty much park it like right at that stage where they have the show during the day and watch the show from there. And there really isn't a bad spot to watch the show from. Unless you're like right next to the castle. Other than that, like if you're a good distance away, you could see it and enjoy it. And it's fantastic. Like there really isn't anything like it. I mean, like the only thing that I could really compare it to is the projection mapping that's on Cinderella Castle, or even the projector, the 3D mapping that happens at Disneyland. But even then, like, there's something very different about the thing that's happening on Hogwarts Castle.
Well, it's because like, in Disneyland and Walt Disney World a little less, but in Disneyland for sure, it's like the 3D mapping is just like a fun afterthought. Like, you're there for the fireworks, and oh, look, there's stuff on the building that not everyone can see because it's like, you know, it's low to the ground. It's like this castle was made for it. It's up high, it's raised, everyone has a perfect view, it's a perfect backdrop, and there's something just much more, like, pardon my pun, magical about it.
Well, one thing that they utilize that I don't think Disneyland utilizes is creating depth with it. Because Disneyland, there's things on top or on like the characters on it or whatever it may be. This projection mapping opens up Hogwarts so you can look inside of it. You can see
the staircases moving. Like it's phenomenal. And the detail.
Yeah, the detail is like second to none when it comes to the projections on the castle. It's absolutely bonkers in my opinion. And honestly, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I put it in writing. Sure, I've said it on the podcast before. I don't mind not having fireworks. Like there are like a couple for like the finale part of it.
At the end.
But like the majority of this is like I'd say it's like 95%, 90% projection.
Yeah.
I don't miss the fireworks at all.
Yeah, same.
Like the epicness of the music and the projections and everything else is absolutely stunning. And for me, that's enough. I mean, even when it comes to the other projection shows that they've had in the past, adding drones and things like that, absolutely amazing. And this may not have drones, but that strong John Williams like Hedwig theme and just like the music from the Harry Potter films hitting so hard with the visuals is just stunning. Like if you're at Universal Studios Hollywood during the show, don't miss it.
Yeah.
You will be so disappointed to leave and find out that you missed this thing because it is simply stunning.
Yeah.
Sit down, find a good spot, relax, and take it in because it is so cool.
I recommend, like, we saw the first showing, which I definitely recommend because it gets a bit chaotic getting in and out of Hogsmeade.
Just that pathway is so narrow.
At night, because there's a bunch of people funneling out, and they're funneling people in a certain way, and it's a little chaotic. But if you're already in Hogsmeade, like when the sun is setting and when it's getting dark, you can just like mosey over and get a good spot, and it's a lot more stress-free. It's
definitely a lot more stress-free. So that kind of ended the day, and Aaron wanted to watch it again, but it was late, and we needed to come back home to take care of Bowser. So we headed out. And
as it is, she went to bed at 11. So
yeah. So the last ride of the night was the car slide.
Yeah.
Which was just the big spiral car ramp all the way down
the exit to the parking structure.
But that ended the day, and it was absolutely incredible. The whole day was just so perfect, and so many memories made that day that are going to be memories we're going to have forever.
Oh, also, shout out to the family restrooms next to Waterworld.
Oh my God,
they were a lifesaver all day because I think, with the exception of one time, we really utilized that bathroom. It's just like it's a calm, air-conditioned room with 3 family-style bathrooms and 2 nursing stations, which we didn't use, but they're there, so I feel like I should.
But even while waiting, one of them wasn't being used at all, so Aaron went in and played with
the toy.
The toy that was in there.
There's a vending machine full of stuff that you might have forgotten if you're there with kids. There's the sink. There's a microwave. There's like a water spigot to refill your water. One of the bathrooms has a toilet that's like toddler size. So Aaron's like, that one's for me. And it was just really exciting. She's like, that's my size.
If you have a kid who's young, utilize these. Yes. They're incredible.
It's 100% worth it.
It is 1,000% worth it. It's absolutely incredible. So, we have created memories that'll last forever. And, it's like Inside Out where it's like core memory has been created for Erin, and even today when I picked her up from daycare, she's like, "Hey, Papa, remember a baby ate us?" And she was talking about Maggie Simpson on The Simpsons. I was like, "Yeah, the baby ate us." She goes, "Can we go again?"
Aww.
And I said, "Yeah, we could go soon." She goes, This weekend?
Aww.
And I said, "Maybe soon. Maybe not this weekend, but maybe soon, okay?" And she goes, "Okay."
Aww,
so she loved it. And her experience at Universal Studios Hollywood was just so overwhelmingly positive in every sense of the word. And, even though the day may have been filled with moments of slight fear, but like pushing her in a direction that she's never felt before, it all was so positive and left such a good mark on her. And for us and for me, it's absolutely incredible. And, we talked about our trip to the water park at Soak City and our experiences at Knott's Berry Farm and how special those were too. And I think if anybody were to kind of look at these two experiences and hear us talk about them, they'd be like, "Oh, well, Universal's a much better park." I think that's a short-sighted way of talking about it and looking at this.
Yeah.
Because both parks are doing two very different things. Knott's Berry Farm is about getting your hands dirty and interacting and kind of working with your hands and all these like kind of more kid-oriented things, as opposed to Universal, where it's more about the rides.
Yeah.
So both have merit, both are special and incredible in their own way. You know, if I asked Erin, do you want to go back to Knott's Berry Farm? She was going to say yes.
Yeah, of course.
She had a blast. She rode a horse. She rode a horsey. She got gold, which she talked about at her last family gathering.
Yeah.
And if I asked her to go to Universal again, she would say yes too, because she had a blast.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't think it's fair to compare them in that way, because she loved them both.
Yeah.
She had a blast at both. So that kind of ends our trip report a little bit, but man, I was a wreck today with the TikTok that I created.
And you kept watching it all day.
And I was in tears all day.
Yeah.
Because happy tears, of course. You know, the TikTok was just a reminder of her being little, being so happy, and just happy memories. Gosh dang it, I'm getting emotional again. But it was just perfect. Yeah. Absolutely perfect in every sense of the word. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed our trip report to Universal Studios Hollywood with our kiddo, Erin, and hearing our experiences, and maybe there's something that you'll take away from it. From our experiences that you're going to utilize in your trip, or, you know, if there's something that you heard that we did, anything like that. Hopefully you guys just enjoyed it, and from all different aspects. As always, thanks for tuning into this week's episode, everybody. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you head on over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star written review. It helps out the show so much, and it's a free way to support the show, and it supports us, and it makes it easier for everybody to find us and enjoy us like you guys are right now. If you guys want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Theme Park Duo on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and then at The Theme Park Duo on TikTok. I highly suggest following us there, because we put so much content on TikTok every single day, whether it be trends or me bugging Nikki or informational things, historical things, or even posting old commercials from back in the day. Or just recently I posted Disneyland sing-along videos that were from old VHSs.
They're special.
Very special. So definitely check us out there. If you want to reach out to the show, questions, comments, concerns, things you want to hear about, things you don't want to hear about, or if you want to hear Nikki's favorite DRNXMYTH drink, which is the show sponsor, so check that out. It's in the description of every episode. Buy drinks, click on it. You can always email us at
themeparkduo@gmail.com.
Yes! And once again, thank you again, everybody, for listening to this week's episode. And always remember, there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. See ya!
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye!